Key point 1. The problem is the instructions, not you. Have you ever noticed that throughout life we strive for change? We want to be happier, get promotions, find true love, or lead a healthier lifestyle. Sometimes, along with all these ambitious wishes, we think, something is wrong with me, or why am I not able to just do it? So, what should we do with this gap between our aspirations and how we spend our days? Let us put the frustration away by realizing that we, as individuals, are not the problem. Failure can mean that you used the wrong tools or followed false instructions. It was the approach or the system that failed, not you. Who you are and whether you are happy are built on your habits. How many wishes didn't come true because of self-doubt, judgment, or being too hard to fulfill? The work of Dr. Fogg will bring you all the keys to the changes you want in your life and what is essential, feeling good in the process. The transformation consists of small things. If you want to change, adjust something tiny. Sure, it may feel unnatural and demanding to dedicate hours to working out or learning a language, but you can start with 2 push-ups while your coffee is getting ready or 2 unknown words of a new language during breakfast. Embrace the new habit of spending 10 seconds a day saying, "It's going to be a great day," after waking up. This tiny change will help you create a belief and a positive attitude that will shape your following actions. Key point 2. Your behavior is a project to design. You've probably tried to change your behavior many times, but most likely never wondered how you formed that behavior. And you can't change what you don't know. Dr. Fogg distinguishes 3 main elements: motivation, ability, and prompt. Motivation is your desire to take action. Ability identifies your capability, and prompt is what triggers your action. Make sure that you make a hard step with solid motivation. You can solve the lack of desire by simplifying what you have to do. Repeating an easy action, like learning 2 new words per day, makes it effortless after some time. You won't even notice how you started learning 10. Let's look at the example of Katie. She started cleaning up her desk every evening after work. In this way, she feels the energy to be productive. But would she have developed this habit if she had decided to tidy up the whole office daily? When it comes to the prompt, keep those signals that trigger your desired behavior and eliminate those that stand in your way. You can leave your phone in the kitchen to avoid starting your day by scrolling through Instagram. Maybe you often struggle with not getting the behavior you want from yourself or other people. Ask yourself 3 questions to achieve your goal. Why is it important? What makes it difficult? Is there anything that can serve as a reminder to do it? Instead of getting frustrated or blaming yourself for your behavior, try to understand it. Be your advocate on the way to your goal. Jennifer wanted to practice sports again, but she couldn't make it a regular habit, and on the day she didn't exercise, she felt like a failure. She started applying the behavioral model. While questioning her motivation, she understood that there is a greater interest in doing sports when being part of a group. Just like that, a weekly yoga class with other people became a constant habit. You can find what brings you joy about the change and implement it in your life. Key point 3. Motivation is not a deal breaker. As humans, we can remarkably turn our aspirations into feelings of disappointment or failure. This shift happens when this desire is so tremendous that it feels like a fantasy. Therefore, it requires a significant effort that we will often postpone. Motivation is like a party animal friend, great for a night out, but not someone you would rely on to pick you up from the airport. You must understand its role and its limitations. B.J. Fogg. The primary sources of motivation are desires, rewards, or punishments, and the environment. It is okay to experience conflicting desires, like wanting to eat junk food and having a fit body. This moment is the perfect time to ask yourself why you want these things. A desire for junk food may just come from the lack of dopamine you can get from other sources. Motivation changes like a wave. It's not your fault sometimes it can go away, but relying only on motivation leaves too little time to get what you want. You can strive for something but not lift a finger just because you have yet to figure out an easy way to do it. Ask yourself a few why questions to clarify your inner wish. Create a list of as many behaviors as possible that can lead to stress reduction. Then explore the most effective and accessible options that are a natural match for you. Notice how you feel about the behavior and experiment with it. Meditating is a good option, but may be exhausting for some people. If so, try something different, like taking a walk. If you focus on something you already want to do, there is no need to work hard on your motivation. Did you know? A specific aspiration might be a cover for our genuine needs. For example, eating lots of chocolate may remind us of a childhood memory of feeling loved and happy. So, chocolate is an aspiration on the surface, whereas the actual need is a certain feeling. Key point 4. Simplicity takes over motivation. Your brain doesn't like radical changes and actions that require a lot of effort. When you follow the go big or go home rule, you'll likely be going home with your 2 new friends, disappointment and self-criticism. I change best by feeling good, not by feeling bad, BJ Fogg. Define the tiniest step you can take on your way to a habit. Instead of an entire morning workout, start with a 1-minute body stretch. Meditation habits can start with 3 breaths. These small steps bring you confidence that becomes a trampoline for all your following actions. It's best to avoid trusting your dream to a sudden feeling of motivation, but you can trust that you will do what you need if it's easy enough. You are capable of more things than you think. You just need the right instructions on how to do it. Consider the amount of time, money, physical ability, and mental space when deciding if a new habit will fit your routine. A strong wind will destroy a big plant with small roots. In the same way, our ambitious and fast wish to work out for 30 minutes every day gets washed away by our lows in energy. Let's take a look at Molly. She aspires to eat healthy meals, but meal prepping for 5 hours wasn't something she wanted to do. Her first reactions were a feeling of disappointment and giving up on herself and the habit. But after redesigning the approach, Molly figured out that special kitchen devices could shorten the cooking time to 2 hours. She achieved her aspirations by finding an easy way to complete the task. The easier it is, the more you do it, and the better you become at it. Catch the moments when your motivation is up. This may be the time to increase your skills. Don't rush yourself, and don't crush your aspiration with high expectations. We are just humans. Key point 5. Design your afters. Not a single action happens without a trigger. You see a notification, you end up scrolling for an hour. You walk near a sale sign, you wonder where your salary went. The world is full of prompts that dictate our next steps. Do you follow the right ones? With prompts, you can help yourself get what you desire. For some habits to work, you must choose the right time. Let's take a look at Amy. She was in an unhappy marriage and was afraid of losing her kids. She couldn't get a divorce without improving her finances. Her task was to write one thing she had to do right after saying goodbye to her daughter at kindergarten. After half a year, she got a divorce, won $1 million project, increased her income, and gained full custody of her kids. Amy's story proves how simple, consistent, well-designed actions can lead to something big. Dr. Fogg distinguishes 3 types of prompts. Person prompts come from inside of you. These are mostly the things that your body tells you to do. Context prompts are all your sticky notes, alarm clocks, or notifications. Find what kind of reminders work for you, reorganizing your to-do board or writing on your mirror with a special marker. Action prompts are things you already do that signal your other habits. They can also be called anchors, parts of your everyday routine like drinking morning coffee or washing your hands. You can use simple actions like these as your prompts. If it doesn't work, don't blame your character or willpower. Try to redesign what your environment is telling you to do. For example, try reading 1 paragraph of a book after brushing your teeth. A sequence of these minor and precise afters will become a routine you will call a habit later. Also, a good solution for dealing with irritators is doing something nice for yourself after interacting with someone toxic. No path to creating changes has only one line. When feeling something isn't right, get curious and ask yourself questions. Key point 6. Celebrating should be a daily practice. Feeling good and satisfied creates energy and space for something bigger and is valuable for growth. Of course, doing your tiny habit isn't a magic trick that will solve all your problems. But even on bad days, you can celebrate your successes. If you have many reasons to feel bad, create at least one tiny reason to feel good. We say words of admiration to our friends when they have their little victories. So why do we often hesitate to praise ourselves? It's not only a matter of what your self-talk is like, it is also about brain circuitry. Your brain would like to repeat an action that produces dopamine, a neurotransmitter that makes you feel good. Your emotions during your behavior will define whether you will do it again. When feeling good, you don't even have to decide to repeat a habit. You do it automatically. Have you ever wondered why a human is a mix of contradicting wishes? You can hope for 6 a.m. wake-ups and all-night parties simultaneously because your brain depends on getting that dopamine. But you can create pleasant feelings around the habits that you want to have by rewarding yourself during behavior or right after. Eating an evening dessert after morning training probably won't work because you need to feel successful closer to the workout time. Your reward can be a smile, a thought of affirmation, a yay exclamation, doing a little dance, or even snapping your fingers. Just find one that will create that warm feeling for you. It can feel awkward, but ask yourself some questions to find a natural one. What is your first reaction after the news of getting your dream job? Or what do you do when you wad a paper and throw it right into the bin? To succeed at creating habits, you must find a way to wire that good feeling to your behavior. Key point 7. Tiny successes are game changers. We already figured out that you must go tiny to achieve something significant. But what do we do next? Sukumar has been trying to lose weight for 17 years, but his wish to return to his easy lifestyle with cupcakes and chips crushed all his attempts. He was concerned about his looks, health, and relationships, so he tried the tiny habits method. It all started with 2 push-ups and a 5-second plank after brushing his teeth. He lost 20 pounds and gained a consistent habit. But how do we get from tiny point A to a more significant point B? Growing a habit means getting better at that one action, like cleaning the room instead of only a desk. Multiplying happens when you start doing more repetitions of the behavior you want to embrace, such as eating healthy meals and going to the gym. When you identify what you want, make the action easy, and find the right time for it, your habits will grow and multiply naturally. Success in your tiny habit boosts your confidence and motivation to repeat it and do it better. However, creating changes is more than just a matter of character, and it's not a process that depends on a sudden motivation feeling. It's a system, and there are specific skills to help you build it. Like any other skill, they are mastered by experimenting, failing, and trying one more time. Imagine if babies stopped learning how to walk because of their falls. Something difficult can't stay difficult forever. Eventually, it becomes easy and a part of the routine. Increasing your number of habits and their frequency depends on what works for you. Explore yourself in the process of trying to achieve something. Frustration and pain may appear to tell you that you're moving too fast or doing something too hard. Try to find a deeper meaning in your tiny habit. On the one hand, it's only leaving small love notes for your partner. On the other, a happy and fulfilling relationship. Don't forget about adjusting your environment to the habits you want to have. Drinking more water may require putting your water bottle near your laptop. Key point 8. Bad habit. A tangled rope to untie. Sometimes getting the change we want means breaking a bad habit rather than creating a new one. Junie couldn't stop eating sugar. The death of her mother, raising 2 children, and juggling a job and marriage brought her a constant feeling of background stress that she was compensating for with sweets. Then, Junie tried to understand the elements of her behavior. She discovered her grief prompt and tried to deal with it by journaling and calling friends. With self-exploration and the tiny habits method, Junie beat her sweets obsession. Picture a bad habit as a muddled rope with many knots. Just like you can't untie all the knots at once, you can't just break a habit. You have to untangle the mess step by step, starting with the easiest knot. Junie began her change with not having dessert after dinner on Sunday, then changing her car snacks to sugarless. It worked for her because it was a matter of following the proper instructions and not a weakness of character. Find out where you can make your most manageable changes. Then your tiny step becomes your source of power. You can't stop something big in general, but you can list the parts of your bad habit and work on them individually. Try to create a new positive habit. Then eliminate the bad one or replace it with a new one. Also, look for a way to decrease motivation, increase ability, and put an end to the prompt. Your first step will be prompt. Turn off the app notifications to avoid scrolling for hours. Make your environment work for your desired behavior. You can also ignore places, people, or media that trigger your bad habit. The second step, make that action harder to repeat. Ensure it requires more money, time, and physical and mental effort. If the previous steps don't work, go for the motivation step. A healthy snack at home motivates you not to eat junk food at a football game. Key point 9. By creating yourself, you create the world. Mike and Carla had a tense relationship with their 21-year-old son, Chris. He got kicked out of university, still lived with his parents, and could not perform simple tasks like cleaning up after himself or paying his bills. His parents tried to make him a better person, but they often talked to each other with anger and disrespect. Chris wanted to be all the good things his parents asked him to be, but didn't know how to get there. He felt trapped and resentful. Then, Mike started with the most effortless change he could come up with, asking Chris to take the filter out of the coffee machine. It was so easy that Chris did it every time. As a result, Mike helped his son to feel successful and celebrated him instead of criticizing him. This small action boosted confidence and led to more significant changes. You have the power to help others create change. It can be a change in your family, business, book club, or a product you are designing. Make sure you do it from the place of cherishing, supporting, and empowering other people. Here is a guide on how we can change together. Start with something people already have the desire to do. Make sure your aspirations are clear for everyone. Discover all possible behavioral options to achieve that aspiration. Choose the behaviors that match. They should have an impact, are not hard to do, and generate empowerment. Design the options to be as easy as possible. Ask if people have enough money, time, mental and physical capacity, and whether it contradicts their current routine. Find the right time for the habit. When does it feel natural to do it? Celebrate small victories. People change by feeling good, remember? Adjust your behavior together. Your first option might not be a good fit, the same as the first pair of trousers you try on while shopping. Don't be afraid to experiment. We improve our families, relationships, and workplaces with every good habit inside us. By becoming who we want to be, we create the world we want to live in. Conclusion. Meaningful change is possible when you know how to get there. Following the wrong steps toward your aspirations may lead to self-criticism and disappointment. You can form your habits with 3 elements: motivation, ability, and prompt. Your willpower and desire are fickle, so don't trust your dreams to them. Your significant change is a certain behavior. Think about all the possible behavioral options that will get you where you want, but start with the easiest and the tiniest. They will turn mighty before you notice. Why? Because you will not forget that good feeling as you celebrate along your journey. Make yourself feel successful and help other people get that same empowerment. You decide how to spend your time and how you feel every day. Before you choose, ask whether this decision takes you where you want to be. Habits build our identities, forming other people, businesses, workplaces, and cultures. Everything starts with these tiny changes that transform everything. Try this. Write down your desire in the center of a piece of paper. Around it, create a swarm of your behavior options. Check for your motivation, ability, and habit effectiveness. Choose your tiny starter step and try. Write your habit recipe using after I will, and to celebrate, I will. Example, after I brush my teeth, I will drink 1 glass of water. Find more case studies, worksheets, and exercises to form your habits at tinyhabits.com.